Welcome back to Firestorm Games and another Games Workshop unboxing video. This time we'll be taking a look inside the Morgok's Krushas expansion for Warhammer Underworlds, and as usual we'll be taking a look at the contents before assembling the miniatures themselves. So let's get started and take a look at the cards. First of all, we have the fighter cards, of which we have 3, one for each of the miniatures in this warband. Each card is the usual arrangement. We have the artwork at the top, a photo of the miniature in the top left corner, followed by the abilities and stat lines in the bottom half of the card. The first card is the leader of this warband, Morgok himself. As with all the other warband members, he is an Orc Brute and shares the same stat line with the other 2 fighters. Morgok's Krushas occupy the slower end of the movement speed scale. Being able to move 3 hexes sits them among other more heavily armoured and tougher warbands such as Stormcast, Morgor's Fiends and Wurmspat. They rely on their armour for defence, rolling a single dice and looking for shields. Nothing too fancy there, however, their durability is in their wounds. Having 5 wounds each certainly puts them on the upper end of the staying power scale, only surpassed by the likes of Hrothgorn and Morgok, which are individuals. However, the true strength of Morgok's Krushas lies in their damage output. With Morgok and Ardskull dealing out 3 damage even with their uninspired stat lines, it's not unlikely that they could KO enemy fighters in a single bout. This damage output only increases when your fighters are inspired. By making attack actions, the warband generates war tokens, which trigger the fighters to become inspired once they earn at least 2. At this point, these tokens can then be spent to further boost the damage output of Ardskull, the number of attack dice dished out by Thug, and alternatively by generating war tokens, you can also use them through Morgok to help compensate for the warband's slower speed by pushing your fighters up to 2 hexes. These abilities are further enhanced by the other 59 unique cards found in this set. These are broken down into a mixture of objective and power cards, of which 32 are specific to this warband. These cards contain some ploys that give you the opportunity to both spend and generate further war tokens. Berserk Fortitude, for example, allows you to reduce incoming damage by expending your war tokens, whereas Berserk Strength allows your fighters to deal more damage by spending them. On the other hand, Brawling allows you to generate a token when your fighters are adjacent to enemy fighters, whereas Eager Advance not only grants you an extra war counter, but also adds a little extra maneuverability to your lumbering Oryx. The upgrade cards offer the usual improvements to damage outputs and alternative attack profiles. However, even these cards can help to generate those ever useful war counters. Vengeful Gaze gives you your fighters the ability to generate a token when they are attacked, not just when they attack someone else. Similarly, the Ardskull specific card, Vessel of the War, provides an action to add tokens to your nearby fighters. All in all, with some proper use of ploys and upgrades, you should find your fighters becoming inspired and converting those tokens into raw damage output very quickly indeed. So, with the cards covered, let's look at the models themselves. As is standard for Warhammer Underworlds, the miniatures are all single pose, push-fit plastic kits cast in a particular colour that helps your particular warband stand out from your opponents without the need for painting. The colour of this particular warband being, of course, the colour of Orc flesh. The models themselves are your typical Orc Brutes, sporting the similar crudely hand-beaten yet incredibly tough armour plating. Their weapons are also roughly hewn lumps of metal that have been pummeled into shapes resembling swords and spiked clubs. However, the sheer weight and size of these weapons more than makes up for their primitive craftsmanship. Morgok is easily distinguishable as the warband's leader, as he not only features the classic top knot, but is also equipped with the most complete set of armour. Thug's equipment is mostly intact and also features additional chainmail. However, he appears to eschew the use of footwear. Ardskull, however, whilst being fully armoured below his waist, clearly prefers to freely swing his half nunchuck, half giant club around without bulky bits of armour getting in the way of a good smashing. He does, however, seem to see the merit in protecting his brain, however diminutive, and so wears a bird skull atop it. Ultimately, this gives you 3 distinct characters that would still fit nicely in amongst your regular Orc War Clan units. And the miniatures themselves are also really nicely detailed, considering they are push fit, the poses are still really interesting and dynamic, and the level of detail is excellent. They're also really easy to assemble, making them excellent for beginners. So let's continue to assemble the models and take a look at the finished warband. And here we have the full warband. Morgok's Krushas are another great addition to the factions of Warhammer Underworlds, and give you Orc players a slightly more aggressive warband to try out. The coloured plastic and snap-fit nature makes them great for beginners or anyone looking to get them onto the gaming table in no time at all. Now, if you're looking to pick up these warbands for yourself, then you should check out the Firestorm Games webstore for at least 10% off the RRP, and you'll find a link to its page in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, do let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to be kept up to date with our latest videos. So we just want to say a big thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you again on Firestorm Games.